So, good morning, everybody. I hope everyone had a good spring break. Back to working on lesson 9, which is working with text lists and tables. And we've been focusing the past few sessions on tables, getting those, learning how to insert them into your page and to style them. And we're going to continue today with that and hopefully finish the lesson. What we want to do, what we did before, I should say, is that we took an existing table and pasted it in here and styled it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take tabular data and we're going to insert that as a table and then style it, because you'll notice in the first table that we inserted, we have 4 columns. And then this one, we have 5 columns. So how to adapt and make the necessary changes. And then most important, when we go down to a teeny tiny little screen, this isn't going down small enough. So let me move this out of the way. But for a real small, teeny tiny phone, if I can, there we go. We can move it way down. And you can see using the media query that we created, it styles totally differently on a very small phone. And that's the advantage of designing for a responsive website, that no matter what device your website is viewed on, it will look good. And it will be it will be legible, it will be easy to read. Okay, so this is the finished one. I'm going to go to the working file, the one that I added here the other day. And I want to add a new table to this, but I want to insert or import tabular data. So what you need to do, and this is a part that I always forget, and I have to review myself every semester because I don't do this on a daily basis. And I need to first just select anywhere inside the table. Okay, doesn't matter where, just so that you have it, something selected in there, a cell or a row or whatever. And I'm going to switch to design view. And then what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have the entire table. Actually, I'm going to select the entire section because we have to wrap our new table in a new section here. So making sure using the tag selector, I have the whole section selected. And then what I want to do to be able to insert a new table is it has to be inserted right after the end tag of that section, but before the end tag of the end of the article. So to do that, now if I hit the right arrow key on my keyboard, you'll notice that the cursor right here in the code view is just right after that closing tag of the section. The only way you can do that is in design view. Now I can go to File, and I want to import tabular data, which is different than what we did before, which was an insert a table. So we're importing it, but we are also going to search for that file, and that's located inside our root folder. So I'm going to go ahead and browse for that. Okay. And it should be inside resources. And it should be, make sure I'm getting the right one. It's classes CSV is what it is. Okay, this is where they've supplied all of the additional information that we need for our stuff, the rich text, file formats, the quotes, the whatever. So now I can go ahead and open that. And now what I want to do is, let's make sure that I'm doing this right. Fit to data. I want to create a table. And I want to set the table to 100%. Okay. So there we go. It's delimited by commas. Let's see what our other options are. Semicolons, colons, others. I'm going to leave it commas right now. I hope that that's the right one. If it isn't, then I got to go back and review myself. Cell padding, we're just going to leave everything default. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click OK. And let's see what I get. Scroll down here. And there we go. We have a brand new table. But you'll notice because we have 5 columns now that this is kind of messed up a little bit. So what we need to do is we need to take each of these columns and the row that we're using for a header, and we need to assign the necessary style to it. So let's start with the header. Let's work with that. So I'm going to click inside here, and then I'm going to drag across all 5 columns. And then at the bottom, remember under the properties panel, I can go ahead and I can specify with a little checkbox here that this is a header. Okay. So each of these should, oh, you know why it's not being formatted? See, I'm talking and I can't think straight. Remember that all of these selectors were put inside a section tag. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this table inside a section tag myself here. We could have it wrap around. I find it easier sometimes just to insert it ourselves. So I'm going to put in section. That's the opening tag. Let's go ahead and go to the end of our table. I hope that I find the end of it pretty easily. Just scroll way down here. So this is the closing tag for our table. And you can see that I have a little on row line 371. I have an error message, which it knows that it needs a closing tag there. And now when I click back in there, now you can see that the styling is correct here. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to go back in each one of these columns, and we need to either copy and paste existing styles and create new styles, because we don't have up here a style for the day, for the length, for the description, or the class. But we're going to use some of the existing styles and copy and paste when we create the new styles. So we do have one for cost. We already have one there. So I'm going to go ahead and create and select this whole row here. And if you recall from last week, what we did from here is I have the whole column selected. And now I come down here under class and I click, and I'm going to scroll down until I find one for cost. That was one that we've already added. So that will work for us. Okay. Let's see. So there's so many of these that it takes a bit, and I don't want to overshoot it. So let me find it. There it is, right there. Boom. Okay, so notice how it enlarged the column a little bit, or the column a little bit, and the cost is centered, and we're good to go. So now what we want is we need to create one for section day and section length, and they will be based on the cost one. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have my CSS designer. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make sure that I have not all sources, but I want green styles selected. I want, let's see, I want global, and I'm going to create a new selector here. And this is going to be section space dot day. And then I also create one for section.length. I guess I could also do one for section.description and so on and so forth. But I'm going to hold off on the last two for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new section or a new selector here. And I want it to be section space dot day and hit the return key twice. There we go. And I'll go ahead and I'll do the other one for length as well, because what we're going to do is we're going to copy the one that we used, the features that we created for cost, and we're going to apply them to these, because right now we haven't assigned anything. So I'll go ahead and do the same. So this is going to be section space dot what did I say? I already did day, so I need length. Hit the return key a few times. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to go back up to cost. And I'm going to right click on here. And what I can do is I can copy all styles from here. You can copy specific styles, or you can duplicate. That's another option sometimes, that you can duplicate and then you can paste styles into it, or edit and rename. That would be another option, but I'm going to copy all styles. And then I'm going to go to the day and I'm going to right click. And now what I want to do is I want to paste styles. Okay. And let's see if that, it doesn't affect it because I haven't assigned that column to day yet. So let's go ahead and do that to both of those that I just created. Okay, so I've got both of those. Let's come down to the bottom where it's class. And I got to go to the D's now and find that day. And it's way past the C's. I've got a bunch of those. Okay, come on. There's cost, day. A, B, C, D. There it is, day. So that fixed that one. Let's go ahead and I'm going to do the same for length. But what I need to do here is I need to make sure that, again, that all of these are selected and assign length to it. Nothing will change yet because I didn't apply any properties to it. But I'm going to go down to the L's now and find length. G, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, length. Are we in here? I overshot it. There it is, length. Make sure that it's selected. Nope, I got the wrong one. So let's go back. Knew that could be a problem. Length. There we go. So now let's go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to take the same one that I used here. And since I already copied it, I can right click here and I can paste styles. Notice that that one is fixed now. So what we need to do is we're going to take what we used for event. What I could do is I could copy that. And I do need to check to see what I need to, how I need to assign that. Because let's start with class first. So let me go back to just to see what we have here. Let's go back to live view, because this is where it's going to change a little bit. Let me scroll down a little bit, and that's awfully big. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, so let's start with class. So what I want to do is I want to take the section class and I'm going to copy it and I'm going to change it to date. And then what I need to do is I need to change the width to 10 ems so that it's a little bit larger. Okay, so let's come back down here. to my bottom one. There we go. So let's go ahead and find, what was the one that I said I wanted? Event. If I can find it. Section event. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to take section event. I'm going to right click on it. And I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate the whole thing. So now I have a copy. But instead of event, I want it to be, or wait a minute, I did the wrong one. Let me undo that. No, okay. Let me go ahead and right click, and I want to delete. I just want to delete that. Okay. So I thought I selected class, and maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Oh, come on. Sometimes it's difficult finding these guys here. Section, cost, class. Come on, where are you? Oh, I didn't make one yet. That's why. Duh. I needed to take date. I'm not thinking clearly here. Let's take date. There we go. So I'm going to take date, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to duplicate it. And instead of date, I want it to be class. So I'm going to put in class. So C-L-A-S-S. Oh, come on. Okay, now I need to go in. And right now, see how it's set to 6 M's? That was what we had with the last one. Now I want to change this one to 10 M's. So that goes over a little bit, okay? So the width of it changes a little. Okay, let's go back up here. And now what I need to do is I need to make sure that section, that I select that whole column. Whoops, no. Whoop, I'm in live view. That's why I can't do that. So I need to remember to go back. Let's go back in here and select all of this. And now I need to come down here, and I need to change this to class. So let's go back to class. And that's the name of the class, which is kind of weird, but it is. So there we go. So that changes to 10 M's. Okie doke. So we have one more that we're going to do. We're going to change, we're going to apply .class to descriptions as well. So we're going to change that. Let's create one for description. So what I can do is I can take class, and I can also duplicate it. Let's try that. And I'm going to make this one description. Okay. And now I need to make sure that all of this is defined as description. Let's see if it all works out okay for us. So now I got to come down here and see, make sure that I haven't forgotten anything. So easy to forget things, to misspell, to do a lot of things that can screw you up. That's why I encourage all of you that once you have completed these lessons, please save them. You never know some future date when you're designing a website for a client that you're going to, there we go. Okay, so there we go. This doesn't look quite right, but let's go to live view and see what we get here. Okay, I'm going to compare it with the finished and see how I'm doing here. And it looks about right. Okay, so I may have goofed up a little bit, but we'll see. There may have been some other properties that I need to change, but I think I've covered them all without kind of going over the book too much. And let's go back to my view again. Let's see what we have. And it looks pretty correct. There are a few things that I did forget to do, I think. No, I didn't. I'm good. You know what? Border should be set to, and we have a border. I want to make sure that border is set to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click anywhere in here because that was something that I did forget to do. And I'm going to make sure that the whole table is selected. And then under border, notice how it's set by default to 1. I need to remember, I should have remembered to select 0. And that looks much better. That looks more correct now. That there was a border around that didn't belong. And now it's all styled properly. We've adapted a 5-column to our styling. We've also added tabular data, which is a little bit different way of importing information, or you know, than what we've done before with pre-existing tables. So the next thing that we need to do, one more thing, always one more thing. We're going to add captions to these. So what I want to do, and what a caption is, just to let you know, let's go to the finished one, is it's this one right here. It says 2017 event schedule. That's a caption. So we need to create a caption in here. So what we can do is I can come in here and just before the table, okay, I can do this by hand. So I'm going to go ahead and put in here caption. C-A-P-T-I-O-N, there's my opening tag. And I'm going to add a closing tag. And then in between that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put, you know what? I don't want to put it here. That's dumb because I already have it. And it should be inside the table too. So I need to make sure that I put it in the right location. So let's go back over to mine. There we go. So let's zoom out a little bit. Let's go to the first table up here. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing here when I'm trying to talk to all of you. Let's go back up to the top of the table. There we go. So I want to be inside the table. So I even put it in the wrong place before. And right after the opening tag for the table, what I want to do is I want to put in caption. So I'm going to go ahead and put in caption. There's the opening tag. Let's go ahead and put in the closing tag. And then inside that, I'll go ahead and I'll put events 2021. Okay. Let's see what we get here. It should pop up. There we go. And it's unstyled. Notice that it goes directly to the left. and it's as a caption, it's using the default settings. I'm going to go ahead and do that for the next one as well. And make sure that I do this correctly. Let's go back here. That's event 2017 event schedule. So I'll make sure that I do it the same here. I'm going to do the same here. So I want 2021 events schedule. This is so tedious. 2021 event schedule. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same for below here, the next table. And then we just need to style it. So I'm going to click inside the table down here. There we go. So I just need to find it in here. Again, right after the opening tag, we want down here. So we have, that's events. What do we want here? 2021 class schedule. So let's go back here. So again, I'm going to go ahead and put an opening closing tag for caption. I want 2021 class schedule. There we go. So the next thing to do is to style it. So we come back over here to our selector. Again, make sure that green styles is selected, make sure that global is selected. And we want this to be for a caption. So what we need to do is we just need to create a new, hold on here one second. I want it to be table caption is what I want the new one to be. So this should be table space caption. Okay. So now we can begin. I don't want show set turned on just yet. So now we've got a bunch of things that we need to add here. So we want the margin top to be 20 pixels. So there's 20. We want the padding bottom to be 10 pixels. Let's go ahead and see if I can't. There we go. We want the color to be 090. So we're going to go to text. We're going to go to color. We want it to be 090, hashtag 090. And we already have that. So we're going to go ahead and click. Okay. And we want font size to be 160%. So font size, we're going to do it in percentages. We want it to be 160%. Notice how as I'm, every time I make these changes, it's gradually changing the captions that we have in there. And that's what you want to see. If you don't see that, then you have to go back, retrace your steps, undo several steps and make sure that you have maybe the selector named correctly, make sure that you put the caption in the right location, and on and on and on. We want the font sample to be bold. So let's go back to, we already did font size, height. Well, let's go ahead and put align. Align is going to be centered. Align height is going to be 1. It's going to be an M's. That's going to be 1.2 M's. 1.2 M's. Gradually changing, and the only one I need to do is define the bold. So font weight, and I want it to be bold. And there you go. So we've got that done. Cool. It'd be a good time to save everything. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is saved. And remember, if I just hit Command S, that's not enough because I've made additions to or edited the style sheet. And if we look up here where it says green styles, I'll have a little asterisk. So I need to make sure that that's saved as well. So it's safer just to go to File, Save All. So everything has been updated. Now what I need to do as well is I need to begin styling it for a teeny tiny little phone. And when it scrunches down to a smartphone, it doesn't look that great. It just shrinks it down. So this is where we get into some challenging styling here. Okey-doke. So to start with, we need to make sure that now that we have green styles, but we want to make sure that instead of global, we have our media query selected that we created at 426 pixels. And we're going to start to add new selectors for it. So let's start by doing one for a section table. That's what we're going to do. So it defines the whole table on a smartphone. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. I want it to be table, section table. Come on, got to rename it. There we go. So now it's selected, and notice that it's highlighted in blue. That's always a good sign to see. And we want the margins. So let's go back here under margins. We want the left and the right to be auto. Let's go back to the right. We want that to be auto as well. There we go. But it's messing up, you know, everything up a little bit. But we're going to gradually correct all that. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want for the text, we're going to change the properties of the header, that it's going to be really different now. So we're going to take the existing one, we're going to change it pretty dramatically. So we're going to put section, we're going to add a new one. We're going to call it section TH. Section header, table header. And what we're going to do is we're going to cancel a bunch of stuff out. We're going to do height. So let's change height to 0. I don't want it set to auto. Let's do height to be in, I'll do it pixels, and I'm just going to say 0. We want the margin to be in 0. Let's just use set here, 0. We want the padding to be set to 0. So we're basically canceling out the previous one that we had. So we're going to go ahead and up here, we're going to put 0. Let's make sure that I've got the height correctly. So I just want 0. Let's go ahead and remove that. And then height, I just want it to be 0. I guess it is. It could be in points or pixels. And then border, we want none. So under border, we're going to add none, and then all of this should disappear very shortly. So border, we want, let's make sure that I got it. I want border none. Come on, come on, come on. I want border none. And that's gradually taking that away. We also want overflow hidden. So under overflow, let's find that. I've forgotten where that is. I'm going to put overflow here. See if that works. Hidden. There we go. So I still have a few things that I haven't changed here. I have border, none. I may not have done, I did border right. Font size. What else am I missing? There should be no background either. So I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to pause my recording. Yeah, it's important to pause when something isn't working. And the one thing that I didn't change was the font size. Once I changed the font size to 0, it fixed everything. So we're getting closer, a lot closer to, something that is presentable on a smartphone of this size. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new one. We're going to create a rule, table data dot date before, and then we have a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to add to this. So this again is tedious. Please be patient with me. It's easy to make mistakes here. But what we're going to do, just to let you know, is let's see, when I scrunch this way down, is we want to make sure that every other grouping here has a green background. And we want to make sure that the date, event, location, and stuff goes to the left, that all of the other features go to the right and fit accordingly, okay? So that they look good. So let's do that one at a time. So I'm going to do, in here, I'm going to create a brand new one. And I want it to be TD, okay, dot date before. Now I got to make sure that I have done this correct. This is table data dot date, and I believe there's a space. I'm going to go back in here because it doesn't look like it in the textbook, but I believe that there's a space between table data and then date, and then what we want is dot before. We'll find out is, if what we're changing here doesn't change, then we need to do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say show set. Notice that there isn't anything that's really done. And what we're going to do in here now is we're going to add a whole bunch of these things. We're going to put content. And then what we're going to do over here is we're going to put in quotes, date, colon, space, double quotes. Okay. So we need to change all of those now. And we need to change it for table data event before. Oh, hold on here. Okay, so now what we want is rule Oh, shoot, I may have goofed up again. Hold on here. No, it's still under table data before. Yeah, okay, there we go. It's still under table data before. So we have under table data before. Now we need another one that's table data event before. So table date, now I'm going to create another one again. So we want table data space dot event dot before. And again, up here, what we want to do is we want to put content. And then we're going to put the same thing as we did before. And I have to look at the book because there's so many of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these that we have to add. So I want to put under content, I'm going to put double quotes event and semicolon space double quotes. Okay. Well, and so now I need to add another one. So after event comes location. So I'm going to add a new one. This will be TD space dot location dot before. And again, I'm going to come back up here and I want it to be content. And I want it to be, what do I just add? Location. So it's going to be quotes, capital location, colon, space. There we go. So let's do this again. So I have location. Now I need, what's the next one? Cost. So I want table data, cost dot before. And same thing. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to put content. I'm going to come over here. And I want class or cost rather. There we go. So got to keep doing this. I got cost. And I need one for class. TD dot class dot before. And again, we put in here content. And I go ahead and I put in class. You got to put in quotes first, class. Go. Add another one after class, getting close, description, day, and then length. So TD description before. And again, we put in content. And we put in double quotes, description, colon, space, double quotes. We got another one, day. So we want table data, day. before. And let's see, let's go ahead and put in here, we want content. And when we go on description, or day rather, I'm sorry, you did that one. So double quotes, day, colon, space. There we go. One more. There we go. And then we're good to go, I hope. So table data, space, dot, length. Hopefully I haven't made any typos. Or any mistakes in my coding here. Content. And we want length. There we go. So after doing that, we're getting closer, but we're not there yet. What we need to do now is we need to create the following selector. And this is all one selector. So again, we need to be careful with this, and it's going to be, make sure that I don't forget anything here. I don't want a new media query. I want a new selector. And what this is going to be is it's going to be section space dot date. And then I want comma. Then I want section space dot event, comma. Then I want section space dot location, comma. Then I want section space dot cost, comma. And then I want section dot class, comma. Then I want section space dot description, comma. Then I want section dot length, section space dot length. All of this to get this to fit. A lot of work. Oh, see, I have two O's there. I gotta accidentally do that, and that wouldn't work. Length. Hope I didn't do that anywhere else. Comma. And then day. Section space dot day. A big, so it's the same, it's a multiple selector. They could have been done separately. But what I need to do now is I'm going to turn off show set. And what I want to do now is under width, I want it to be 100%. So I'm going to do it in percentages. So now I'm ready to apply it to all of these. So I want it to be 100%. Whoops, I don't want 1,000%, but 100%. I want the padding on the left to be 30%. Let's go down to padding. I want it to be, or is it, yeah, 30%. So 30%, there we go. Notice how it is changing now. And hopefully I've gotten it all right. I want position down here to be relative. I want text align to be left. Text align, let's go back up here. Text alignment to be left. Let's see if I'm getting this here, and it's getting closer. So now we need to do a new rule that governs all of this called text TD, or table data before, that governs all of the properties of this. It's gradually changing, but it's still not looking right. And when I'm all done, we'll cross our fingers and hope that what I have here works. So what I need now is TD for table data. And I want it to be here before. Okay. So now I want the width to be 25%. So I'm going to come back up here. And I want the width, and let's see if things start to change. I want it to be in percentages, and I want it to be 25%. There we go. Let's change the display to be block. Let's change the padding right to be 10 pixels. Let's change the position to be absolute. Let's change the top to be 6 pixels. We want the left to be 1M. Oh, come on. Put it in M. There we go. I'm crossing my fingers here, because if I goof this up, nothing is changing so far. So I could be wrong with this. We want color to be 060. So we want 060. We want the font weight to be bold. Again, I don't know how to put this any other way. Font to be bold. Oh, wait. I goofed. Color here. Color was to be 060. There we go. Because that would be for the text. Font weight is bold. White space, no wrap. So we want white space, where we got that. White space, no wrap. Okay, let's see where we're at and see if we've got the necessary changes. So after this one, it should be working. And if it doesn't, then I need to go back and retrace my steps. So what I need to do now is I need section table row. Table row. And I need the border to be bottom. So border bottom. So border bottom, here we go, is supposed to be solid. And we want the width to be 2 pixels. Where am I at on time? I'm running out of time here. 2 pixels. And we want the color to be 060. There we go. And now we want another rule. It's section. And this isn't working, so there's something that I've goofed up here. So let me finish this, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to pause it and I'm going to fix it. And then on Thursday, before we continue with our MobiRise, I'll finish it up and let you know where I went wrong. And again, I could have mistyped. I could have put something in the wrong location, you know, as I'm talking to you. So that's, you know, a big possibility. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end. I'm going to go ahead and pause our recording, and then I'll finish it up and I'll publish it for you. Actually, I'm going to continue the recording, but you guys are free to leave. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and try to, let me go, yeah, I am going to pause the recording.